Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a book review on The Fiery Cross by Diana Gabaldon. The Fiery Cross is book 5 in Diana Gabaldon's Outlander series. Claire and Jamie Fraser have settled comfortably at Fraser's Ridge, but Claire has the dreadful knowledge of what is soon to come, the American Revolution. Early rebellion is already taking place among a group known as the Regulators. The Frasers must choose a side and deal with the perils that are to come. So, before I do head into my thoughts and feelings on book 5 in the Outlander series, since this is book 5, I'm definitely gonna have some spoilers in here. Some little things might pop up in this review. The further I get into the series, the harder it is to do non-spoiler reviews. It's like, what's the point of doing a non-spoiler review? You know, especially kind of getting further into the series. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna bring up a few things in this review. So yeah, if you've not read this book, if you've not gotten this far in the series, you might want to turn away. So yeah, on to my thoughts and feelings on this great book, you guys. Remember my thoughts and feelings on book 4, The Drums of Autumn? If you recall, I didn't particularly really like The Drums of Autumn that much. I mean, there were things about Drums of Autumn that I did like and appreciate, but for the most part, Drums of Autumn I found very tedious and monotonous, and I just kept wishing for things to go somewhere. It's like things didn't really get anywhere until closer to the end of the book, it felt like. So yeah, I had a rough time with Drums of Autumn. There were some things I liked, but for the most part I was kind of disappointed with the book more than anything. It just didn't live up to my expectations, I suppose. So yeah, I did have my concerns initially heading into book 5. I was like, I can't take another book like Drums of Autumn. I just can't. So fortunately, you guys, thank the gods, I really enjoyed The Fiery Cross. This was definitely an improvement in my opinion. This got back to some of the things that I just particularly really enjoy about the series. You know, the interesting thing about the Outlander books in general, I mean, everybody has different favorite books in the series. You know, you can't please everybody, because I know when I was looking up reviews for The Drums of Autumn, for instance, there was the people who loved it, the people who hated it, and then yeah, the same with this book. I was looking up reviews about this book, there were people who loved it, people who hated it, and it's kind of like that with every single one of the books in the series. So it is. Outlander is such a weird series, yeah guys, because everybody is going to gravitate towards different things that they particularly enjoy, you know, and I think that's what's great about the series and what's great about the fandom, to be quite honest. So I'm going to get my negatives out of the way, and then I'll save all of the nice happy positives for the end of this review. So yeah, my few negatives that I had with this book initially: it's such a slow start, you guys, but the thing is, the further I do get into the series, I'm beginning to notice that all of her books are like that. Diana Gabaldon's books, all the books in the series are like that, that they all have this initial kind of slow start, slow pace, and she really just takes her time telling the narrative, and sometimes at the start of these books, especially the last couple books in the series in particular, it just seems like she's just really heavy on little minor tedious details that sometimes don't really matter to the overall arc or story, you know what I mean? So it's kind of moments like that. It's like, okay, why is this here? What is this? Is it important? Is this character important? And I don't know, you know, I don't know what she's kind of doing sometimes when she just brings up these small little tedious details. And I mean, at the same time though, I mean, maybe these books, they have these initial slow starts, I mean, really, yeah, maybe to really just kind of get you immersed into the world, immersed into the time period, you know, to kind of reflect on, you know, our modern conveniences, perhaps, I don't know. But yeah, I'm beginning to notice that with all of the books in the series, that they all do have a very slow start initially, but what Diana Gabaldon does so brilliantly is that she does really build the narrative. You know, she always builds to like a really fantastic climax and then a really great conclusion that leaves you hanging and wanting more and wanting to get into the next book. And like I said, I'm going to be heading right on into some spoilers, I suppose. As far as another negative goes, I was not particularly a big fan of the regulator plot line. And some of you may be going, ooh, but the regulator plot line is such a big important thing. I know it is. The regulators, they're these disgruntled people. They're fed up with the government. They're fed up with the taxes. They're forming a rebellion and a revolution, and yeah, it's kind of the precursor to what is to come with the American Revolution and whatnot. But yeah, for me personally, the whole regulators plot line was seriously just kind of boring and monotonous, and I felt like it was very anticlimactic. I felt like when we would get to some of those particular scenes, it's like Diana Gabaldon would give you this sense of like something is coming, something big is coming here. But then ultimately it kind of never went anywhere for me. I don't know if the regulator plotline is going to be something bigger perhaps in the next book, you know, as we are leading up closer and closer to the American Revolution. I don't know. But yeah, for me, anytime the book would get away from, you know, whatever was maybe going on at Fraser's Ridge, or whatever was going on at Aunt Jacosta's house, or what was going on in town, or whatever, every time it would kind of get away from all of that stuff, you know, especially splitting up the characters, which usually happened whenever the regulator plotline would occur. Yeah, I did. I found myself kind of disconnected and not really caring ultimately at the end of the day, which I guess is a shame because the regulators is such a big kind of deal in the context of what's going on. But yeah, I found myself not really caring. And my one final negative, and it's not just for this book, because I really started to notice this in Drums of Autumn, because this was definitely a big, huge no-no for me, and something that was really turning me off. As I am getting further and further into this series, something that is really deeply frustrating me and kind of troubling me is the sheer amount of conveniences or coincidences. You know, anything where, oh, this is a great plot convenience, this is a great plot coincidence. A lot of stuff like that is really starting to frustrate me. And, like, in this particular book, for instance, something that was really just irritating me, like, Roger, for instance. Roger, Jamie sends him off to go talk to that one man who's leading the regulators, and Roger, he just happens to come across so very randomly that one woman, Morag was her name, that she was on the ship with the sick baby, and remember, Stephen Bonnet wanted Roger to kill the baby because it was a sick baby. He didn't need a sick baby on the ship. But yeah, it turns out that Morag and this sick baby, they're actually a part of Roger's family. These are some ancestors of his. So yeah, he happened to meet these people, which was very coincidental, on the ship in Drums of Autumn. And then just randomly here in the middle of North Carolina, yeah guys, North Carolina is a relatively large place, and yeah, Roger just happens to come across his Mackenzie ancestors once again. You know, it's little things like that. You guys, it's little things like that that's starting to bug me, just these plot conveniences and plot coincidences, and it's getting harder and harder for me to suspend my disbelief about things like that. Now, when there were conveniences like that back, especially in books like 1 and 2, I could kind of buy into those things for whatever reason, you know, because it's the start of the series, and little things like that could kind of easily make sense and kind of come together. But yeah, the further and further I get into the series, just whenever something conveniently or coincidentally happens, it's like, really? Really, Diana Gabaldon? I'm having trouble suspending my disbelief about a situation like that, or something, you know? And yeah, there's dozens and dozens of these little examples that I can give, but yeah, kind of the biggest one that stood out to me was definitely Roger randomly in the middle of North Carolina, in the middle of these woods, running into his great whatever ancestors. Does this bug anybody else? Seriously, if this bugs you, please let me know. So like I said, I wanted to get some of my negatives out of the way, get that out of my system, because I want to gush and talk about the things that I really enjoyed, you know, the positives that I really liked. As always, Diana Gabaldon's writing is top-notch. Even though she may have a slow, tedious start to the novel, like I said, she always builds and builds to these great climaxes and ending sequences. Yeah, her writing, you can always clearly tell she does her research, you know? And yeah, even though she's here, deep into the heart of book 5, deep into the heart of the series, it's like you still can tell Diana Gabaldon has a passion for her writing, she has a passion for the storytelling, she has a passion still for these characters. And yeah, I mean, considering that there are quite a number of books after this book, a writer really needs that. You know, they need to still love these characters, they still need to love this world, because if the author starts not loving what they're doing anymore, you're going to be able to tell when you're reading the book. And yeah, fortunately, I mean, I can just tell how much she still clearly loves being in this world and writing about these characters, because yeah, that's what I love. I love being here in the 1700s. I love being with Claire and Jamie and all their friends, you know. That's why I still read this series. Even though I have issues with it on occasion, I still read this series because I love the characters so much. So yeah, for some positives, the wedding of Jocasta and Duncan, which, you know, that's going to be so weird in the TV series, you guys, because I guess a spoiler for the TV series, because in the TV series, Duncan is dead, correct? And then, yeah, Myrta is supposed to be dead, but Myrta is the one who's alive. So in the TV series, I'm going to assume we're getting a marriage between Aunt Jocasta and Myrta instead of Aunt Jocasta and Duncan. So that's going to be interesting. So that was kind of weird reading this. But yeah, the wedding, you guys, of Aunt Jocasta and Duncan. The actual physical wedding is like a page or two, but it's everything else going on around the wedding. You guys, this is where all the juicy stuff is. This is where Diana Gabaldon excels with her writing, especially with her humor. You know, Diana Gabaldon, you know the Outlander series, a lot of times they're very dark and serious, but something that I think sometimes we forget as readers is just how witty Diana Gabaldon is, how she writes these characters, how witty the characters can be, how humorous and funny and quirky. That's where she excels, is when she has these big like gatherings of all the characters in one place and they're all just hopping around interacting with each other, and that's where her writing just really excels, and that's what I particularly enjoy. And yeah, you get this at the wedding in particular. It's at Jocasta's house, and yeah, you have all of her, you know, all the elegant landscaping, and it's huge and vast, and there's so much going on. There's so many just little characters everywhere, and everybody is important. You know, every character is important, every little detail is important, and it is, like I said, the actual marriage is just like a page or two, but it's kind of everything else going on around it. It's what Jamie's up to, it's what Claire's up to, it's what Roger and Brianna are up to, and then yes, some minor characters that kind of figure in later, what they're up to. Yeah, you got poor Duncan being nervous about the wedding night, you got Roger and Brianna having some sexual tension, you got Jamie and Claire having some sexual tension, and they're arguing for a good chunk of the wedding. Yeah, you got a murder. You guys, there's a murder in the background of this whole thing. This poor slave woman ends up getting poisoned, but the poison was supposed to go to somebody else, and it's a whole mystery for the rest of the novel who was supposed to get poisoned. So there's so much crap going on, you guys. And Diana Gabaldon, I mean, she could have easily got overwhelmed with what was going on here, but she just plots it out so meticulously that you're able to follow everything and follow the dots. And seriously, the wedding, this whole sequence, because I think I counted, it's like 150 pages of the novel, and that was easily my favorite stuff, you guys. I was never bored, I was always thrilled and excited. I loved it. Okay, let's move on to something else, you guys. I thought for sure Roger was a goner. Like I mentioned earlier, there's that whole sequence. Jamie tells Roger to go deal with the leader of the regulators, and and then yeah, the random plot convenience that he happens to come across his ancestors. But on the plus side, what this did do, yeah, there's that whole sequence. There's the misunderstanding, because Roger, he kisses Morag, which was a little weird because he is related to this woman, but he didn't mean anything by it. It was harmless at the end of the day. But yeah, there's this whole misunderstanding that happens with a kiss, and yeah, her husband comes in, sees the kiss, all hell breaks loose. Poor Roger, he's framed for being part of the regulators, and then the next thing that happens, Roger is hung up in a tree. You guys, oh my freaking god, this, good lord, this was so incredibly well written by Diana Gabaldon. There was so much tension and intensity and uncertainty. I really thought Roger was a goner. I thought, oh my god, we're going to get a major, huge character death here, because yeah, there's not really been too many big character deaths in the series when you think about it, especially amongst the big players. Fortunately, Jamie feels for a pulse on Roger. Roger lives. Thank God. I was not about to take it anymore if Roger was about to die. You guys, I was like, no, please don't. Thank goodness. And you know, Diana Gabaldon always has such a way when she's talking about medical things, because yeah, one of the big things going on with Roger is because yeah, he was nearly hung to death, and it's a thing of trying to get, you know, because his throat is constricted and he can't even get any air down properly. So yeah, the whole thing, yeah, Claire has to like cut open his throat and put something down there to get some air in there. Diana Gabaldon is always so good with the details about how medicine and how things would work medically back in the day, you know, especially since Claire doesn't have modern conveniences. So yeah, the stuff with Roger, heartbreaking, intense, but yeah, really gruesome at the same time. His recovery and him trying to get him back to life and whatnot. Oh, so good though. I'm so glad Roger made it out though. And seriously, what does Diana Gabaldon have about inflicting all this man pain? She loved torturing Jamie. God, poor Jamie got raped. Jamie got mauled by a bear. Jamie suffers a really brutal snake attack later in the book, and then it's like poor Jamie went through a lot of hell, and then yeah, now it's like she's like, okay, I'm done with giving all the pain to Jamie, I'm gonna inflict it all on Roger now. But yeah, Diana Gabaldon loves inflicting man pain on all the sexy men in the series. I don't know what's up with that. Next up, something I particularly enjoyed. Adso the cat. Yeah, guys. Diana Gabaldon, Drums of Autumn ended. Ian had to go live with the Native Americans. Y'all know the story if you read the book. And yeah, he takes his dog Rollo with him. I was devastated when Ian and Rollo left. But thank you, Diana Gabaldon, for introducing Adso, the cute fluffy cat. That was the highlight of the book for me. Not lying. Next up, another positive to this review, something that I weirdly enjoyed, and I'm kind of curious how other people felt about this plotline, because it is such a weird plotline, and at the end of the day, also kind of an unnecessary plotline, just like plot-wise, but it worked character-wise for me. I loved everything at the Beardsley home. Not only did I like the Beardsley twins, I loved them, but just the plotline in general where Jamie and Claire, they're out, you know, with everything dealing with the regulators and whatnot, and they come across this house out in the middle of nowhere, and yeah, this woman, her husband, he's dying. He's really fat and bloated, and he's dying. He has gangrene. He can't even move, and this was such a weird plotline, just kind of right there near the beginning of the story, but what I liked about this particular story with the Beardsley, Mr. and Mrs. Beardsley, what I enjoyed about this story, even though it was unnecessary plot-wise, it provided a lot for the characters of Jamie and Claire, interesting enough, because Jamie, especially Jamie, he sees that Mr. Beardsley, he's sitting here in pain. They essentially need to mercy kill him, you know, because he's slowly dying, he's suffering, and Jamie starts thinking about his own father, and he starts kind of second guessing his sister Jenny, if Jenny perhaps lied about the death of their father. You know, he's questioning, you know, did my father suffer? Did he suffer and die a painful death? Did Jenny have to kind of mercy kill our father and she didn't tell me, you know? Jamie's kind of going through a lot of inner struggle because Mr. Beardsley, he doesn't look like Jamie's father, obviously, and nothing about that situation really resembles what happened to his father, but it's still the idea of Jenny maybe lying about something about their father, you know, that she might have had to mercy kill her father, that his father was suffering painfully. Because what did their father die of? Did they say he died of maybe a stroke or something? Like complications with a stroke or a heart attack? I'm trying to remember. So yeah, Jamie, there's a lot of inner struggle and inner demons going on with Jamie as usual, and kind of him thinking about his past and thinking about his dad in quite a bit of detail. And then yeah, it provides a lot of interesting character stuff with Claire as well, because Claire is a doctor. You know, she was a doctor during World War II, and you know, a big thing of doctor-patient confidentiality, doctor-patient trust, and yeah, the oath of a doctor to do no harm. It doesn't matter who this person is in front of you. They could be a bad guy for all you know. Her oath is as a doctor to do the right thing and to do no harm. And yeah, Claire having a very difficult time with Mr. Beardsley when Jamie kind of wants to mercy kill this guy, and she doesn't have it in her to kind of let Jamie do this. She wants to try and save this man's life, even though she knows she can't because he's too far gone. So yeah, a lot of just really great stuff at the Beardsley house, the Beardsley farm for Jamie and Claire. It actually provided some really emotional stuff there that I don't think the previous books have ever really kind of touched on. Okay, I definitely got to mention Stephen Bonnet next. I kept waiting chapter after chapter after chapter because they sure did like to talk about Stephen Bonnet a lot, especially because, you know, he's the one who raped Brianna, and then yeah, Brianna's child. Whose child is it? Is it Roger's child, or is it Stephen Bonnet's child? Are we ever going to know? You guys, are we ever going to know whose damn child this is? But yeah, Brianna feels kind of comfortable thinking that it's Roger's, and Roger, even though Roger, he almost has a suspicion it might be Stephen's child, he still likes the child either way. You know, it's his son. So Stephen Bonnet, they like to talk about Stephen Bonnet a lot in this book. He literally does not pop up until kind of right near the end of the book, and he's just there for a few pages, and I kind of liked that. At first I was like, oh, don't tell me he's only in the book for a few pages. At first I was prepared to be a little annoyed, but I think I actually really liked that he was only in the book for a few pages. It made him more of a threat, it made him more menacing, it made it a bit more exciting. So yeah, it's leaving me more in suspense, because now it's like, okay, I bet he pops up in the next book, like, more, you know. And yeah, he got shot, didn't he get shot? In his man parts by Brianna or Claire, I can't remember who shot him, or Marsley. One of the ladies shot him in his man parts, you guys. But yeah, it seems like he is alive. Stephen Bonnet is not dead, you know, because Blackjack Randall was the big villain for the previous books, so yeah, they need a new villain for the next wave of the books. So yeah, they can't kill Stephen Bonnet just yet. I really like him as a villain so far. And then yay, my last positive, I am so glad that Ian and Rollo made a reappearance right at the very final chapters of the book. I was like, yes, Ian, yay, Rollo the dog, I love this. And yeah, so many questions. Why is Ian here? What happened to his wife and his child? Because we know that he married a Native American woman. Yeah, what happened to his family? Are they dead? Why is he here to visit Jamie and Claire? Because he had, was it a book of some sort? I think it was some sort of book that he was, let me look at my notes. Is it a book? I think it was. Yeah, because he was giving Jamie and Claire some sort of vital thing that belonged to that Ottertooth character, the guy whose skull Claire found out in the forest, and and he had a gold tooth, so she realized he was from the modern era because he had modern dentistry in his mouth, and so she found out he was a time traveler. So we find out a bit more information there about Ottertooth and what he was up to. So it seems like the next book in the series might kind of deal more with the time traveling aspect, you know, the mysteries of the time travel. And yeah, are Brianna and Roger ever going to go back to the 1960s? What's up with that, you know? So yeah, yay for Ian and Rollo. So you guys, that is it for my review of The Fiery Cross by Diana Gabaldon. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. Yes, it had its ups and downs. I think all the books in this series are going to be that way, but yeah, this was definitely a vastly improved book from Drums of Autumn, for me personally anyway. Other people may feel differently, that's okay. But yeah, I'm very excited to get into the next book. Yeah, is Stephen Bonnet alive? I think he is. Where's my man, Lord John Grey? You guys, I love me some Lord John Grey. He wasn't in this book. I better get some more of him. Yeah, are we ever going to find out who the father of Brianna's child is? So many questions, yeah guys, and I can't wait. So you guys, that's it for this review. In the comments below, let me know your thoughts on the Fiery Cross. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Just let me know. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos.